doing this. I think this is a great opportunity for us to meet the other authors and to get a quick overview of what is going to be in this special issue. And there is a rich variety of topics. So congratulations for doing this, and thank you. As you mentioned, I'm going to fly over the paper that I got accepted at this issue, and it basically has to do with the fact that I believe that a smart entity should not be claiming to be smart if its identity is not smart per se. So from my perspective, there is a gap that should be filled, and we should be looking into that aspect as well. So without further ado, the supposition is that from my point of view, it is completely futile to be talking about planning smartness and how to make smartness work within the context of an entity, whichever entity that might be, if we do not have a proper brand and identity that is representing smartness as it should, from point of view of representation of a brand, of what a brand is supposed to do. So when we talk about a brand, we may be talking about a space, a community, a company, a private or an individual. It could be a university, and from this point of view, that's precisely the context that I chose to work on this article. So I worked within the context of campuses, and I've looked into the possibilities of looking into a university campus as something that, because it has a brand, could represent through the brand its smartness idea, potential, and all that smartness is supposed to include, which goes way beyond technology. So from that point of view, this paper is very, very different from what has been presented so far. It's a very speculative kind of study, which is it's something that I really do a lot in the context of design. Speculative design is something that I've been exploring a lot, and the interest here is, or the focus is on investing in smart visual identities, because the visual aspect of an identity is what more easily makes the brand tangible. And for people to interact with the brand, it is way easier if the asset, the brand, which is an asset, is tangible and easy to use. So from that point of view, I've worked on what is tangible, visual, and I chose, within the scope of all the visual elements that a brand includes, I chose the logo. So what I did was I departed from the supposition as well that if the users can interact with the brand, if the users can interact with the visual elements of the brand, that will also in some way help or support the development of their design literacy, which is something that has been defended by the idea of smartness. So that takes me to the method very quickly. I'm not going to be presenting the paper, but just to give you an overview of what I did. Again, a very exploratory research. I've looked into the visual identities of 11 campuses of higher education institutions that have been part of research in which smart campus has been present. So in which the idea of implementing a smart campus has been developed, has been researched, and has been in some way as a case study. Then I moved into the fields or a more sort of empirical aspects of this research. I've delivered 4 workshops at 2 different institutions in the UK. And from these workshops, I collected a rich amount of artifacts, 72 designs from students, BA, postgraduate and PhD students, who created their artifacts in which they suggested how smartness would be represented within the logo of their institution. And for that, I used, or the background of this, or what I used as a model was Maslow's pyramid of needs. So what I asked the students to do was to represent what would be the most meaningful elements or aspects of an optimal experience within the campus, should the campus go smart, and what were the needs that they would definitely want to be or to see fulfilled. And then at the end, I've confirmed the insights that I collected with experts, with 2 experts interviews, a communication officer from a higher education institution, and a data management officer from another university. So some things that I just very quickly want to share with you in terms of the main contribution. I reached out a moment in which I think I can say that there are 2 essential dimensions of what a smart visual identity should entail, and that would be that it should be customizable, which means each individual would have access to their very personalized logo, if you want, of that brand, the brand that they are interacting with, in this case of the campus. And it would have to be computerized as well. So it would have to be nurtured and fed by some kind of live data. And that is possible. There are some examples. I shared some examples on the article. A customizable example is the visual identity of Rio for 450 when they celebrated the elevation to city of Rio de Janeiro, and in which every citizen from the city was invited to contribute with their own logo of Rio de Janeiro. And a very good example of a data-based visual identity is the one by Nordkin, which is a region in Norway, which logo changes according to the changes of the temperature and the wind, so that the citizens can be in a real-time way be informed of the temperature outside in such a very cold place in the planet. Some of the things that the students share with me had to do with their most relevant needs, and then the most interesting thing of this workshop was precisely how they represented their needs within the logo. So how the logo could communicate with them and by making visible the data that they considered more relevant, communicate with them in terms of what would be the next session, what would be the next class, and how they could be taken to that next class should the logo be used as, for example, a GPS. Which is the case of the one on the left, which you can see it's blinking towards the direction of the session. And then there are other things such as, things that have to do with people being sick, which was very common during the pandemic, and the overall openness of the campus, the events that are happening, and so on. So those have to do more with socializing, esteem, belonging, and so on. I would say as well that the other contribution was that I've worked out a working definition of what a smart brand is, which is grounded on the conceptual similarities between being a friend, and that is someone that looks after your needs, your motivations, and being smart. So from what we understand as a friend, I would say that a smart brand is a friendly brand. It is a brand that contributes with relevant information, that wants the user to be knowledgeable, that entertains the user, that makes available the right tools at the right time, helps the user in making difficult decisions, such as, which corridor to go through to the next class. Provides with meaningful experiences, makes the life easier by optimizing it, and also promotes network by creating interesting connections. And that takes us to the final, the definition that I want to suggest, which is that smart brands are those that, because they are informed by their own identity and design thinking processes, customize wishes, interests, and needs while using contextualized data to nurture learning and creative intelligence to produce a positive, practical, and sustainable impact on citizens' lives. And they operate at the same level as friends. And that's it. That's me. Thank you very much.